Hello everyone, welcome back to the Code Goat. And in this part, I'm going to teach you something important about this FastAPI application, which is how we can make our application secure, how we can make our APIs secure. Because if your application is not secure enough, it means you have some locker without any door and any hacker or scraping website can come and steal your important data. But let's not do that. It's our duty to make our application secure enough. And how we are going to do that? We will do that with the JSON Web Tokens, which is used as JWT. We are going to integrate this JWT with our APIs in a way so that each API request and response cycle will validate this JWT and then only they will perform their actions. So it was the preface of this particular video, and let's see what we are going to learn in this part. Okay, so first of all, to implement this JWT, we need to understand something about the authorization and authentication. While implementing security in your application, what we are doing, we are creating some rules, and also we are creating some mechanism in a way so that we can restrict access, we can restrict the flow. This is the way we can implement the security to our application. And to do that, it is required to understand this concept, which is authentication and authorization. And why we need this JWT? I'm going to explain this JWT in some details so that when we are going to implement it, you will not get confused that why we are using this JWT. Okay, so this is the one part. Also, we need to understand that how we can create a secure mechanism to storing the password of a user, because user sensitive data is the one thing which we should not compromise. So we need to make sure that we are creating some mechanism and so that our passwords are saved in a most secure way so that no hacker can uh, infiltrate and steal the data. Okay. For this, we will use the JWT, but also we are going to add few more things while storing the password. But to make our application or APIs secure, we are going to implement this JWT for our FastAPI backend to protect our APIs. Okay, so this is the one part which we will cover in practical. Also, as I said, authorization is something where we are restricting access. So we are creating one RBAC, which is role-based authorization. So we are going to restrict user to some extent so that they cannot go any further until we don't want him to go. Okay, so this is the one thing. And comes to the second part, we are going to integrate this JWT with React 2 because it's the front end which will drive our backend from the user's point of view. So we need to understand that how we can integrate this JWT with our React application too. So in this part, there is one more thing which we need to know. That is how we can secure the token storage in React. The one thing which is the token is generated by our backend. Sorry, this token is generated by our backend, but it's our duty to store this token in a way so that a hacker or some other websites cannot use it. Okay, so this is the complete thing which we will learn in this particular video. So without any delay, let's start with this authentication versus authorization. So if any of the concept you already know already, then you can skip that part. You can move to the part which you want to learn. Let's assume that you and your friends are going for a party. And when you reach the hotel, there is a top floor where the pub is present, and below to that pub, there are multiple rooms where the guests are staying. And there is a policy in that hotel that only the visitor who have the valid ID proof can enter into this hotel. So what the security guard will ask you, okay, show me your ID. Then you all will show your ID, and after showing your IDs, this guard will validate, okay, you all have the valid proof, and then now you can enter into the hotel. Okay, so now the next step. When you enter into the hotel, there is a receptionist. What that receptionist will ask, which floor are you going to? So she is validating whether what permissions you have, like where you want to go, Then you will say we want to go for a party, then they will authorize you to go to the top floor where you can have your party. But in that authorization, she will not allow you to go to the rooms where the guests are staying. So what she did and what the guard did. So the guard was the one who is validating whether this user or whether the customer is valid or not by their security ID. And what this receptionist is doing is she is checking whether you have permission or you have motto to go to which floor and to do which work. So this is called the authorization. What the guard did was the authentication, and what the receptionist is doing is the authorization. So from this mechanism, we understood that for a security reasons or to make the access secure, we need both authentication and authorization. Okay, so let's assume, not assume, let's come to your FastAPI application. So there are multiple users and you have your FastAPI application running on server. They all are using your API to access your FastAPI application. But you cannot allow all the users to use all kind of things which is present inside your application, because they might create some noise, or they can create some issue, or they can extract some data which you don't want to expose. Then how you will control it? We will control it in a same way like that guard and receptionist did for the hotel. We will add authentication and authorization to the API. So each user who is accessing your API to access your FastAPI backend application, they will provide some kind of authentication and authorization through the API so that your application can understand, okay, this particular user is valid and this particular user have this kind of access to retrieve this kind of data. Okay, so this is a very simple mechanism through which we are going to secure our API. So for to securing the API, what we need authentication and authorization. But how we can integrate these both things with our API? Because till now we are just directly pushing that data and we are retrieving the data just by hitting the URL and providing the payload. So there is a way. And what is that? We will use the JWT. As I said, JSON Web Tokens. This JSON Web Token will provide you a mechanism in which you can provide the authentication data, the authorization data with the API request response cycle. But how these all things will work? Okay, so this JWT contains three parts. First is header. This first header will contain that what type of token it is and what signing algorithm was used to secure it. It is completely for your application. There is a no part of user in it. Second is the payload. The data like your user ID, your name, and most importantly for us, your role. So as I said, we need authentication and authorization. To authorize and to authenticate, we need some kind of data from the user. And what is that? That it might be user ID. And after getting the user ID, we need to understand what the role of user is. So that particular thing will come under the payload. Then the third thing is signature. It is created using the header, payload, and secret key known only to your server. So there are signing algorithms which are known to many one. But this particular signature is the one which will contain the keys which will identify your header as a valid header, and then it will provide the access to your application. Okay, so we have these three parts inside this JWT token which we will pass through the API to your application server, and then application server will collect these all things, that your server will process your data, and then your server will allow you to do any kind of action which you are requesting, and also if you're allowed to do it. Okay, so this is the JWT, and how it looks like. It looks like something this. It will contain these three parts. The blue one is the header, this orange one is the payload, and the green one is the signature. The signature is completely known to your application only. Okay, so this is the JWT in a nutshell. And how a JWT used in practice, like how this JWT is used when we come to this application part. Okay. So there is this authentication. A user logs in with a username password. Just imagine this as a web UI application which is connected to your backend server. There you will get some login page. There you provide your username and password. Then what it will do, it will create a token. The server verifies the credential, and if they are correct, it create a JWT containing information about the user. So when you send that particular username and password to the server, then server will generate a token. Okay. Now comes the part of token transmission. The server sends this JWT back to the client, like to your browser, and store this token. So once your authentication credentials reach to your server, then the server created the token, and this token will be transferred to your web application browser, or you will say any kind of, like, it can be your mobile application too. So there the server will send this token to your client. That client is something where you are operating your application. Okay. Then authorized request. When the client want to access a protected resource, it sends the JWT in the authorized header of its HTTP request. So what happened? First, we provided the username password. It reached to the server. Server created the token. This token is then transferred to your client. Client means your web browser. Now your web browser contains this token. So from now, whenever a user is going to access some kind of resource from your application, your browser will add these tokens to the user's request, and then it will send to the server. So every time when this browser will send this request to the server, it will add that token which which it got from the application server, and it will send it through the network to your application server, and then the application server will process that token. Okay. How it will process the token? The server receive the request, extract the JWT, and it will verify the signature. So this signature is something which only known by the application. So when this application will see this signature, then this application will approve the request, and then it will provide the response. So in this way, when we integrate the JWT with your API, it will do the complete cycle. So this is the part where how a JWT used in practice. But there are some cons too. And what are the cons? The payload isn't encrypted. It means whatever the token it created or the token we got from the application server, even we can decrypt it manually. And second is, once issues, a JWT is valid until it expires. It means, let's say you have created a lifetime of a token is 30 minutes, but the user's action completed in 10 to 15 minutes, then the user logged out. But after logging out, that token will be still alive. That token will exist into your browser, and that token will still alive. So if anyone else come into that portal and use that particular token to access your information, they can easily access that. So we need to handle these two things, but these two things can be handled because we know the cons. Okay, so this is the JWT in nutshell. Now, how to create a secured password mechanism? Before creating this secure password mechanism, let's understand with the scenario why we need it. So when you go to your application and when you write a sign up page, what I mean by write the sign up page, you pass the user ID, you created a password, and then you just hit on the sign up. So when you hit on the sign up, that particular password will go to the application server. That application server will convert that particular password string to a hash string, and that hash string will be stored inside your database. Okay, so there a user is created with a password, but there is a hacker. That hacker will have some kind of table where those hacker will already have a set of hash strings. And from where they collected it? They collected it from the normal user, because most of the user use this common password, some easy password, and they somehow collected all those password into a big table. So what they will do, they will try to use that hash string, and they will try to convert that hash string into a random string, and they will try to use that random string with your user ID to that particular application, and somehow they will gain the access and they will steal your data. So what I can do to make my password more secure, so a hacker will not be able to the hacker will not be able to break it. So there is a mechanism, and what and how we can do that. Okay, so here is the user have this plain text password. This plain text password will be hashed and it will be stored into your application database. But here comes the part, it is the hacker, and this hacker will also have the same hashed string and they can access your database. So what we did is we added a salt. What is this salt? This salt is a random string appended to your hashed password known only to application. So what happened is when you signed up for that application, that password string will go to that backend server. That backend server added some random string to that password string, and then it will hash the complete string, and after hashing that complete string it will store that hash into its database. So in this way, the hacker will never be able to crack that random string which this application generated, and they will not be able to log into your server. But the user, they will not know like what the salt is, then how the user will able to access. All the user just need to remember his password. Whenever the user will try to send the login request to the server will be smart enough to decrypt the stored hash string to remove that particular salt, and then it will compare the string password to the hash string, and then only your server will allow the access to the user. So in this way, we are going to secure the mechanism. Sorry, in this way, we are going to secure the user password mechanism for our FastAPI application. It is a one more step which we are doing to make our application more secure. Okay, so from here, our theory part is completed, and now we are moving forward to the coding part. So what I will do is I will open my VS Code. Okay, where it is? Okay, here it is, my VS Code. And what I will do, I've already created one small application with FastAPI backend. So what we are trying to do here is we are trying to secure our APIs, and we are trying to include this JWT token with our application in a login mechanism and also with the API request response flow. So it will be better if we can use existing framework or existing application so that we can understand it is easy to integrate these all things. We don't need to do anything from the scratch. Okay. So let's start with cloning the code, and then on top of that code we are going to integrate these all things. It means we are going to create everything from the scratch for the security on the existing APIs and on the existing working code. So here I have this particular repository which I will share you into the description, and it is a work which we did from last few episodes, or you can say in last few parts. So what I will do, I will just come and I will copy this repository and I'll go to my terminal. I will just simply do the git clone. Okay, let me show you what else is here currently. So here I have these three things: backend, frontend directory, and this one env which I created for my virtual environment. Okay, so what I will do, I will just go inside the backend, and there is nothing here right now, and I will do the git clone. It is open repository, nothing else is needed. Okay, so it cloned the code, and I will do the cd to this particular one. Currently it is at main branch, but I will use the dev branch because everything which we develop is in the dev right now. Okay, so git checkout. Okay, git checkout dev. Let's do the ls, and yes, everything is here. Now, what the second part is, we will prepare our env. So how we will prepare? Let's go back to step, and now inside of it, let me source this env script activate, and I will do the pip install. First, let me check which Python it is. Okay, so it is using the same Python of this particular thing. We need to be very careful with the backend dependencies. So every time when you are code, just try to uh, refresh your requirement.txt whenever you are pushing your code into the repository. So in that way, you will never forget, or you will be never lost while deployment. So what I will do here, I will do the simple pip install -r. We will do the backend, FastAPI, and inside of it requirement.txt. So it will install all the requirement, and also uh, we will install all the other requirements as well when we are developing this dependency, this passlib, everything. Meanwhile, just let me tell you this salt, the thing which we talked about while securing our user's password, the thing which we called as salt will be provided to us by the Python library, which is called Passlib. It will do all the things for us. It will provide the salt. It will decrypt the password which is present inside the database, and also it will remove the salt. Then it will compare it to the password which is sent by the user, and then it will approve, okay, that this user is correct, and we can give him access. So everything is set right now. Let's start the development. Okay, so here we have this backend, and inside the backend, this is the FastAPI e-commerce. Currently I have this backend. Let's go to the backend, and here is all the things. So first of all, what we will do, we will first we will create the secure password mechanism. Actually, we already did it in the earlier part. Just right now, we can understand that what it is. So I will go inside the core, and inside the core, I have this security.py. So here I am using this passlib. This passlib is the one library which I talked just now, and this passlib is the one which will give us the functionality of that sort. Here in this line, this password context, we took this script context. It is the main part in this particular file. What it is doing is, first of all, it is providing the schema. What schema we are using to uh, encrypt our password, and also it is using this deprecated auto. It means if there is any older schema which is used, then with this auto it can handle that. So with this password context, we created an object of this script context. So here I have these two methods, get password hash and verify password. What this get password hash will do, we will take the password in string from the user. After taking the password as a string from the user, this particular hash will add the salt to your password, and then it will encrypt it into the hashing algorithm, whatever we are using. For here, we are using this bcrypt. And in this verify password, what it will do, it will take the plain password from the user, the hash password which is coming from your database, and it will verify this verify method. What it will do, it will remove that salt. It will take your plain password and the hash password which is present inside your database, and it will match. If it matches perfectly, then it will return the boolean value. Okay, so we understood these two things. The first thing where we are creating the salt, and the second thing for the verification. Okay, so it is the part, and now let's come to the second part where we are going to create the JWT token. So for that, what I will do, inside the core, I will create one more file which will be called as auth.py. Okay, so it is the auth.py, and inside the auth.py, we need to create a mechanism. So see, we already created the salt. We just secured the user password mechanism. Now it's all about the infusing this JWT token to our APIs so that we can understand that which API is authorized to which type of user. So we are going to create our JWT token by ourselves. So here what I will do, first of all, let's do some from typing import. Let's import few things which is required. That will be optional. Okay. From typing import annotated. We are going to use this annotated from JOS. Okay. From JOS import JWT. This JOS is the uh, library which will help us to create the JWT token. Okay, so I have this from database, datetime. Okay, fine. And also from FastAPI, import depends exceptions status. Fine. From FastAPI security, import OAuth2 password bearer token. We are going to create a bearer token for our further communication. I will explain you all the things. Just here we are trying to develop first, then we will do the implementation to our API. Then you can get the complete understanding. But here we are creating it from the scratch. Okay. From backend.fast API, no, it is not required. Session, okay. Not session, we are going to use a session from the SQL model. Okay, so we are going to use the SQL model, import session, and from decouple import config. Okay, fine. Let's do the few things. Secret key equals to config, and from the config, what we will do, we will use the secret key. Fine, secret key, and algorithm. Okay, fine. Algorithm equals to this. Access token. Expire time 30 minutes. So first of all, what we are doing here is we are creating the attribute of our JWT token. Let's start with this secret key. First of all, we will understand why I'm writing this config with the secret key. This config thing will take the variable from the env variable. Okay, so how we will get this secret key into the env? So for that, what I will do, we need to create one file at your root folder that will be called .env. Okay, this env file, here we need to provide the secret key. So what I will do, I will use the secret key from here and I will go to my .env file, the secret key equals to. So now the second thing is we need to create our secret key. Then how we will create the secret key? It is a very simple. The secret key is a random string, but it is a secure string. So what I will do, I will just call the Python, and after calling the Python, I will import the secrets. Okay, I just imported the secret. Now what I have to do is secrets dot what was this URL token underscore URL safe. Okay, I guess this is it, and it should be of 32-bit. See, it created a one almost 43 length of character string, and it will be used as our secret key. So what I will do, I will just paste it here for the later references, but in .env I need to provide this file, this value as like this. And also, if I go to my auth.py, I use the algorithm again from the config. This config will take the data from .env. But how I'm getting this config algorithm? So if I go to my config.py, here I created one env file as .env. So we need to provide all the sensitive data inside this .env file. So if I tell you, okay, I just remove few things, but this database URL, we will leave it here in the settings. At the time of deployment, when we are going to deploy this application into the Docker, we will remove this database URL from here to this .env. And I'm leaving it here right now just But at the time when we were creating or we were learning for that part, we will come to this thing again and we will move it to the .env file so that we will remember that all the sensitive data should be in .env file, and this .env file will not be pushed into your Git repository. Okay, so here I have this config, here I have this auth, and in .env I need to create one more variable which will be called as algorithm. I will come here, I will paste algorithm, and it will be HS256. Okay, fine. So I have created two variable here which will be called inside the auth.py. This auth.py will give us the token. Okay, so we have created this attributes. Now it's a part of developing the token. So what I need to do, I need to do one more thing. And what is that? I need to create one OAuth. Okay, let me rank OAuth password OAuth2 underscore schema equals to OAuth. Okay, so here let me explain you what it is. So what I will do, I will use it as token so that it will make a good reference. This particular OAuth2 password bearer, it is coming from FastAPI.security. What it is doing, it is providing me that we are creating a token for OAuth 2.0. This OAuth2 is OAuth 2.0. And if a user want to get the token, they need to go to this slash token URL. So it is the API endpoint. Whenever a user need the token, they need to go to this token. Okay, so we have created one object for this token bearer, and let's develop one method from where we will get the token. Okay, so it will be create access token. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so it is the method. It is very simple. I will explain you line by line what I did here. So it is the data which we are getting from the user. And here what I'm doing is data.copy. I'm creating a copy of a user data. We are not modifying the current data what user is giving to us because we can use it later time. So what I did, I created a copy of that data. So this 2 underscore encode is the copy of data. In this part, what I'm doing here is every JWT token have some expiry. So let's say if you are putting some time, let's say you are creating a token for just 5 minutes. So what you have to do, you need to create a token which will be alive only for 5 minutes based on the timestamp. So here I took the timestamp and I just added the expired delta. If expired delta is present, it is optional. If we are providing this create access token with the expired delta time, then that's fine. If it is not present, then I'm setting the time limit with the extra 15-minute here. But I've also taken the some limit of 30-minute right now. So what I will do, I will just put it here, and in place of 15, I will use the access token expire minute. So in this part, what I'm doing is I'm creating a one date time object which will provide me the time limit for the token. Okay, so I have created the data. So sorry, I just copied the data to a variable and I created a date time object where I'm setting a time limit. So I have these two things. Now it's very simple. To encode dot update, by this dot update, what I'm doing is I'm providing the expiration time. So from here, let's say currently if it is 10 o'clock, then it will be alive till 10:30. So what it will do, it is saying to that token that you can live till 10:30 from now. Okay, it is a time limit which we just updated to the code. And what after it, I just created the token with the JWT dot encode. All I have to do is I had to provide the data, the secret key which we just created, and the algorithm which we used in this .env file, this HS256. It's a common algorithm. Okay, so I have provided these all things and it will create the JWT data. So as I said, there will be three parts: the header, the payload, the signature. The payload will contain this two encode. The header and signature will contain the data regarding to the secret key and algorithm. Okay, so we just created a method by which we are creating the JWT token. Now we will create a method which will identify the user. how it will identify the user, not user. What it will do, it will take the user, the current user, and it will identify whether that user had that valid JWT token or not. Why I am doing these two things? The first one, creating a token, and the second thing is verifying the user, that user have that valid token or not. We are going to use this create access token with some other APIs so that we can incorporate this particular JWT with my get current user. Okay, so let's create this get current user. Okay, so here it is, and what I did here is this. I created for this currently particular right now. I have these two argument. One is token and second is DB. Let's use it as session. So we will be on same page for all the things. And this token is depending on this OAuth2 schema. The syntax what you are seeing here is basically the dependency injection. From the dependency injection, we are depending this token on this OAuth2 schema, and this session is depending on the get session. This get session, it's already created into the db.py, from where we are creating a session and we are calling that session everywhere whenever it is required. Okay, so I have created these two. To get the current user, we need the session, and also we need to verify the token as well. Okay, so I have these two arguments, and later it is the exception part. Credentials expiration, HTTP exception. So if let's say if your credential got expired, or if you are using with the wrong user ID, then it will throw this could not validate credential. Now let's come to the part of where we are doing the coding. So it is the payload. Payload will have this JWT.decode. What we are doing, we are getting the token from the session, and then we are doing the decode. This decode will have the payload. As I said, this token will have the three parts: header, payload, and signature. And we need that payload. So after doing that decode, we will get this payload in the subsection. Okay, so I got this user ID as well, but I will use this as a username. Okay, so username will be of a string, and this string will get the data from the sub of the token. Why I'm using this username? Because this username can be your email ID, this username can be your name. So just to not get confused with some integer number, I'm using this username here. Okay. If username is none, let's say there is nothing inside this token, then it means it should throw the credentials exceptions. As I said, like it is the one part where we have just created one variable with the HTTP exception, and which we are throwing right now when we didn't get any data of the token. Okay, so it is the one thing. Now what we will do, we will just uncomment this part, and we will remove this part as well. We need something more from it. Okay, why it is creating all the things. Okay, so currently what I will do, I will create user equals to, let's say that particular token is already there with the user. So what I will do this await. As we are doing the FastAPI, we need all the things in an asynchronous way. So I need some already created CRUD operation. That CRUD operation I can get from CRUD import from, where is that CRUD? Okay, from CRUD dot users import, not get users. Okay, where is this CRUD? Here it is, the CRUD user. Okay, from CRUD dot CRUD user import get user by username. Okay, I have already created this CRUD operation. CRUD is nothing, just a create, update, read, delete. I created this CRUD user get user by username. So as in the sub, I will get this username. So I will fetch the data from the database whether this particular user exists or not. it might be possible that some hacker tried to get the token of someone else, but when that particular uh, hacker use some other username, so for that verification, I'm using the one more step. Okay, so what I will do, await dot get user by username and session. Okay, so I have provided these two things, and if user is none, then raise credential exception, or else return user. Okay, so get current user will provide me all the things. Okay, I need to call the await as well. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, so all I need to do is just with the async here. Sorry, I forgot it. So async method will use the await. Okay, so it got resolved. So I created these two methods, and let's go on the second part where we are going to test it whether it is working or not. So what I will do, I will just save it, and after saving it, I will go to my Postman. But before going to Postman, just execute us, just run our server. So we will have something. Where is that? Where is that? Where is that? Okay, it is a Ubicon reload. It will create the instance for me. Oh, it got failed. Where it got failed? This input from where we can get this error. Okay, so it is failing at this dot settings equals to settings and config.py at line number 11. So we will go directly to the config.py, and okay, my mistake. While providing this env, the secret key and algorithm, I need to provide the same key to the settings as well, so that our settings will know that which keys need to be permitted inside our application. Okay, so this secret key will be of str, and after that, what I need, this algorithm of str. Let's see if these two keys are there only, this algorithm and secret keys. Okay, so let me save it. Okay, I will save it, and we will go back here to see. Okay, now it's working. But currently, if I see for our fast API, everything we are checking through the API route. But in auth.py, we didn't provide any kind of API routing, because these are the internal methods which we are going to use to create our few more APIs. So what I will do, I will directly jump into my users.py. Where is that users.py? It will be inside the API users.py, and I will create few more APIs here by which we are using this JWT, and we are collecting this JWT from the current user. Okay, so to create a JWT with the login, so I need something for the login. So I will create one API. Okay, so what I will do, I will do this async def login for access token. Okay, so it is for now pass, but we do not need pass here. I need to provide few more things here. First of all, this form data depends on something, and this session it's also depends on something. So let's import few things, the things which we created just now. Okay, we're gonna need few more inputs from the library, so I will just import it right now from typing import annotated for the dependency injection, and for this from core dot auth import create access token and get current user, because not create access token. Okay, let's just keep it. We will see if we are going to use it or not. Then from FastAPI, import OAuth to password, because we are using this as a type. Okay, then from core.security, import verify password. Okay, so these are the things which we're gonna need, and let's see what is this verify password. So for this verify password, I will show you again. We will go back to security.py. This is the verify password where we are removing the salt. We are just verifying the user's password, which is already present inside the database. And also we have few APIs to create a new user. So from this API we will create a new user, and after using this create and then after creating this API, after creating this user, we are going to validate that user with our few more APIs. Okay, so let's create them first. So I have this login for access token. So what it will do, it will use that particular kind of same methodology, but after that it will create a access token for that user. So after creating that token will be used for other operations. Fine. I guess we can start working from here. So what I will do, so I need this user equals to wait, okay. Let me check if anything need to be okay. I will correct it if anything is not required. Expected else. If not, then else. Uh, I don't think so. It is if we are gonna need it or not. Statement or new line colon. Fine, fine. Okay. So here, what I am doing is, first of all, I am getting this cred user get user by username. Okay, so for that what I'm doing, this user equals to from you this from data, this form data dot username. uh, you have this login form where you are passing this username and password, so that particular data will be treated as form data. Okay, so from that I have this form data dot username and session equals to session. The session where it is coming from, the session we are taking from the session. Okay, the session is of type get session. Fine. The session is of type get session. Okay. So I have this session, I have this password. Okay. Expected. Let's just do it, and we will create. Okay. Why I'm doing this all things? Why it is showing these errors? Just not even. Okay. Sync def login for access token. Okay, fine, fine. What bracket I am missing? Depend session. Ah, okay. I'm missing the closing bracket. That is why it is creating these many errors. That's why we do not rely completely on the AI. Sometimes we need to do something from ourselves. And that's why you need to learn all these things so that you can resolve these all things in seconds. Okay, so I have this form data and this session, and I'm checking the user with the get user by username. Okay, so after getting this, I'm verifying the password is the hash password or not. Okay, this is not the hash password which we will get. It will be users dot password. How I'm using this user dot password? For that, I will go directly to my models. In the models.py, I will go to the user, and here I have provided the password. So that's why I'm using this user.password. What this user is the object which we are getting from the user database. Okay, so I have these all things. I've created the HTTP exception. Then I'm using this create access token, this data user.username. Okay, fine. Everything is fine. So login for access token. It means after verifying our user, we are creating a token and giving it back to the user. So let's create one path for it. Okay, this router.post. Inside this post, what we will do, we will ask for the token. Okay, we will ask for the token, and the response model will be dict. We will save it and let's verify it. Okay, let's see if it is working fine. This no module name Josh. Okay, from Josh import JWT error. Then we need to install this. Okay, module name Josh is not present. Then what I will do, I will come here, pip for Josh. Okay, I will get this using pip. Where is that Python Josh? Okay, pip install Python Josh. I will just come out from it. I will do the pip install. Okay, let's let it install. It will take few minutes. Okay, fine. We will up our services again. No module name decouple. Okay, we will import this as well. No module name decoupled. Then we will install it. Pip for no module name decouple. Okay, come here, pip install Python decouple. Okay, again we will come out. We will do the same with the pip install. Okay, everything is fine. Let's see if there is any library missing. No module name curd. Oh, somewhere I use the curd. Auth.py line number 10. Auth.py line number 10. Form crud. In place of curd, I use the curd. Okay, it is fine now. Let's check whether it is fine or not. Pip install Python multipart. Okay, let's install it too. Pip install Python multipart. Okay, it is also installed. Now it should not create any issue. Okay, so we have installed all the dependencies as well with the development. Now let's check whether this particular API is working or not. So for that, what we will do, first we will create some user. And to create some user, what we will do, we will just open the docs. Okay, so currently I have this post API v1 user, this user ID, and this user token. So as soon as it's created the API, it comes here. So for that, I need this API v1 users to create a new user, and I need to provide this payload. So I will come here. Just think of it as a sign up form. So I will come here and inside the body, I will paste it as the where is that raw. Okay, raw, and then JSON. Okay, I just paste it here. Username, let's use it Dawn. We will make it Dawn, and the password will be dawn@123. It's for our use, so we can provide anything. And what will be the API? API will be API v1 user. Okay, so what we will do, we will just remove it and then users. Now it's time to create a post request. Let's do and hit the send button. Internal server error. Why we hit the internal server error? Bcrypt, no backend available. Recommend you to install pip install bcrypt. Okay, that's fine. We will install it. We will install this pip install bcrypt. Pip install bcrypt. So currently I have this one. Let's reload it again. And now it's fine, I guess. Let's hit it again, the send button. Okay, so it created a user which have a role of customer, and its username is Dawn. We will just remember this Dawn@123 for the password because we are going to generate a token for it, and its ID is 12. Okay, that's fine. So I have created one user. Now it's time to use the other API to generate the token. I will close this one. I will come to this API v1 users token. And what else I need is, I need a form data where I'm providing the username and password. So just think of it as a login page. So here I will come back to this token. Sorry, come here back to the, okay. Come back to the token, and what I will provide here is in the body as a form data. Let's provide this as a Dawn. And what will come here as Dawn@123. So it's a username, it's a password, it's a form data which is coming to the body, and I'm providing the post. So let's do the send. And we successfully created the access token for this particular user. So now, right now, we are able to create a user. Right now, we are able to create a token as well for that particular user. But still, we are lacking few things. What we are lacking? We need to somehow make our other APIs in a way so that without that access token, that particular API refuse to work. That thing we need to work. So for that we need one more thing. Okay, what is that one more thing? Let's come back here. Okay, where is that code? Where is that code? Okay, here it is. This auth.py. So if you remember, in this auth.py, I created two methods, this create access token and get current user. For the create access token, that's fine. We have used it and we already just created a token for that particular user. With the username password, it just validated whether that user existing or not, and if the user exists, it just returned the JWT token. Now it's time for the other APIs to shine. And to other APIs to shine with the JWT mechanism, what I need to do is I need to use this get current user. If do I'm using this get current user right now? I guess I'm not. Okay, yes, correct. I'm not using this get current user. Still, in this auth.py, the method this get current user is just a method. It is not any API. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to create everything in a request response cycle. Uh, so that we can be sure that everything is working. So what I will do, I will create one more API, and that API will do the work for me to authenticate user with the JWT token. Okay, let's see first like how we are going to do it. So what I will do, I will create one method async def read user me. Okay, it is for the person, it is for a one user. So okay, let it like this, and inside of it, what we will do, we will provide the current user annotated with the user, not user public. It will be user, and with the user I need to import it user. Okay, is the user import? No. Then what I will do, I will do this from model dot models import user. Okay, so I just imported the user. Now I need this get current user. First we will go to this get current user and understand bit more like what it is. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking this session. From the session I'm getting this also I'm getting this token as well. I'm getting the token and I'm getting the session, and from the token I'm retrieving the username, and after retrieving the username I'm checking whether that particular user exists or not in my database. Okay, fine. I will come back here and okay, let's create the code for it. It is not much of a code. It will just finish in a single line. Okay, fine. Now return current user. Okay, so what it is doing is it is just heavily dependent on this get current user. And let me create a path for it as well. Let me copy it so that I need to write less. Okay, so in this thing I will provide this my session. Inside this my session, response model will be user public. Okay, so this is the user public and I'm retrieving the current user. So what I'm doing here is right now I'm just validating whether my user exists or not with the token. So this read user will completely execute this get current user, and if it executed fine, then it will return the current user back. And this current user we are just doing with the dependency injection. Okay, so we created this. Okay, in place of mhy, just write this my session. Okay, I have these APIs. Let's see whether our framework is running or not. Okay, so our services are running. And we'll go and just refresh the page to see whether this API reflect or not. Okay, so I have this API my session, and how this my session will work, it will just simply return me the response, the 200, and it will return me the value of this username, role, and ID. But what I need to pass, I need to pass token here, because if I go back to my code, to authenticate that particular user, what I'm passing here is this get current user. Let's go to this get current user. Am I calling it or not? Okay, I didn't import it. Then let's import it from dot. Okay, it is already there. From core dot auth import get current user. Okay, fine. I'm calling this get current user, and if I go to this get current user, it is taking a token as its input. Okay, fine. So I have provided this get current user, and it will work fine, and it will return the get current user. So let's identify it with the postman. I will tell you like how we can use this get current user or this my session for the other APIs so that you can secure those APIs as well. So here what I will do, I will create one more user right now. So here is the post, here is the body. In place of Don, let's say I'm using this Tim, and Tim is also a customer. Let's create this Tim and hit a send request. Okay, it created the one user Tim for me. Now let's create the token. So I will come here and I will create the token for this particular user Tim. Okay, so Tim is here and Tim is here in the username password with the rate @123, and I will send. Okay, so it gave me the access token. So what I will do, I will just copy it to my notepad, and the last thing what I'm going to do, I'm going to check my session. Okay, where is that? Where is that? My session. Okay, so here in the authorization, I need to go to body. Body will not be used. I need to provide this. It is a get request. So this body will be used in the post. So coming to this authorization, what I need to do, I need to select the bearer token. And after the bearer token, what I need to provide, I need to provide the complete token here and just hit the send button. Method not allowed. Let me check why I'm doing what, if I'm doing something wrong. Let's see the logs. Method not allowed, SQL commit. Okay. Auth 2.0 access token, bearer access token, the value of access token. Okay, hit the send button. Method not allowed. Why so? Why so? Why so? Why it is happening? Method not allowed. Let me check what I wrote here in the users.py. Oh, I just wrote the post. I need to make it get. Okay, so I will make it get, and now let's see if it's saved or not. It is saved. Let's hit the send button, and my customer Tim identified successfully. So all your APIs will use this token. So when you are going to log in with that particular user, that token will be there, and that token will be used by the other APIs to verify whether this particular user who is asking me to do something is that particular user or not. Okay, then how, and the last thing comes here, like how we can integrate it. So to integrate it, it's very simple. All you have to do is, let's say you have this product, and what you are doing here is you are retrieving all the data from the database of the products. So what I will do, I will just come here and go to the main.py to retrieve the API endpoint. Okay, it is the API v1 products. First we will run it. First we will run it without that dependency. Then we will add this dependency, and then we will re-execute it with the token. Okay, so here I have this. What I will do, I will provide this API v1 products. Now hit the get request. Okay, so it gave me a list of all the data or all the products which I have in my database. Now it's time to make it secure. So let's make our API dependent on JWT. So for that, what I will do, I will go to this products.py where our API is written, and I will go to this get request which I wanted to authorize through the JWT. It's very simple. What I need to do, I just need to do one thing which I already did in my users.py. I just need to copy this particular line. I just need to copy this particular line. I will come here, and through the dependency injection, I will update this argument. Okay, so what I will do, I will provide comma, I will provide stars for the other variables, and I will keep it like this. Okay, so as this current user is not utilized anywhere, so I will update it with the underscore. So there are few more things which we need to import to make it work. So what I will do, I will come here and I will import all the things. So from typing import annotated, from code.auth import get current user, and one more thing which is required, from model.models import user. See, all the things are in place right now. Everything is there. So now it's time to run our code. Just let's see whether our application is started or not. Okay, our application is running. So we will come here. Earlier, when we were getting the products just with the get request, now what we will do, we will just hit the send button. Okay, you are not authenticated. So what else we can do? Now we need to create a bearer token. We need to pass that bearer token here, and then we will check whether this get API is working or not. So for that, I will go back to this my session, not my session. I will go to this token where I already have this form data. Inside this form data, it is Tim at the rate 123. Tim is a valid user. So I will hit the send button, and it created the access token for me. So what I will do, I will copy this access token. I will copy it somewhere in the notepad. Just let me copy it. Okay. So right now it's secure, and I will come back to my products.api. Okay. So in products get API, I will go to the authorization. Into the authorization, I will pass the bearer token. After the bearer token, I will paste the latest token what I have, and I will again hit the send button. Now I got all the data which is there. So in this way, I just, with the simple and small change, I make my API dependent on the JWT. So in this way, you can develop your JWT in your FastAPI. It is the best way which I told you. And with a small change in your API, you can make your API dependent also with the JWT. And why I created that my session, so that my session can be used to verify whether the particular user from which that particular user logged in, that particular user is the only one who is using the current API. So we have all things set. We created the JWT. We secured our APIs as well. Now let's come to the second part where we are creating the role-based access. So why we are creating this role-based access? Because there are multiple kind. It might be possible that you have some application which contains multiple type of users. For a simple application, there are only two kind of user and admin. But for other application or for other purposes, it might be possible that you have other kind of users which have some restricted access. So we are going to develop some role-based access as well. So let's go back to our code. We will go back to our code and we will come here to this model. Okay, let's go back to the models.py. In the user table only we will see. So currently the role is of customer, which is by default. Now we will check for the admin. And how we are going to do that? Okay, so let's go to the admin. So to change the code for the admin, we will go back to this auth.py, and here we will create few more methods to check whether my user is admin or customer, and based on that we are providing access. Like we just integrated the token, JWT token. We will simply provide the same thing for the the role based access too. Okay, so here it is, and what I will do, I will create one method, this def role checker, required. Okay, required will be the roles, and it can be list, because a single user can have multiple type of access. Okay, str. Okay, it will come as str, the list of str, and then def this check roles dependency, and inside this dependency, okay, the current user, get current user. Okay, it will get the current user. If the current user roles is not in the roles, then there is exception, then operation not permitted, then fine. Or we can just add few simple things like this user not permitted, user not authorized for this action. Okay, so it is good. And now return the actual thing, check roles dependency. Okay, so from here, this current user, if that particular role exists for that particular user, then it will return the user, or else it will return the exception. Okay, so what I will do, I will create this checker for the admin, is admin. Okay, sorry, is admin, is underscore admin, underscore admin. After that, what I will do, I will just this and then return role checker admin. Fine. So all I need to do is need to just call this admin, and as I already have one for customer, so what I will do, I will do this as it admin, or admin is for customer. Okay, I will add this as customer. You can create as many as you like whatever your application supported. So I created few roles, and now let's integrate it. And where we can integrate it? We can integrate, again, we can come back to our products.py. While creating a new product, uh, we cannot give permission to all the users to do such kind of thing. We need someone who is responsible while adding product to your application. We need to add this in some different way, and I will explain you why. So earlier, so earlier in the GET request, we added as a dependency injection at the place of where we are providing the argument. But here, what happening is, if I go back to this auth.py, we were calling this method, this get current user. This get current user was providing me some data. But if I go to this is admin, it is providing me, or it is returning a method. So if I'm using this method, which is also returning a method, your fast API will get confused, like how I'm going to proceed it. So what is the other solution for it? The other solution is, all you need to do is you go to the routing path, and you need to provide this dependencies. So inside this dependencies, all you have to do the same way you are doing the annotated, you are doing with the dependencies. So we added it here, and let's go to the Postman again, and we will hit the send request. So let's see, will it work or not? Okay, you are not authorized. And the other thing which we did was, where we created the user with the admin privileges. Where is that user? Where is that user? Let me go to the body, admin1. Let's recreate the token for the safe, for our safety. Okay, let's copy it again to some notepad. And this time what we will do, we will create the product, but this time with the token. Okay, so here I will go to the authorization. I will select the bearer token, and in this bearer token, I will paste it. So let's see, will it work or not? Okay, sorry. I just pasted a token inside same app, sorry, the same API. So it is not correct. Let me go back into the products where I was creating a product. Let me check the body. Okay, it is correct. Let me go back to the bearer token, and let me replace it. Let me hit the send. Okay, this time it was able to create the product. So in this way, okay, just we will create one more user with the customer, so that we will be sure that whatever the things we did here was perfectly working. So what I will do, I will go to this user, in the body, in place of admin, I will use this cust. Okay, I think that is fine. This cust, and it is the this cust is using the customer role. Okay, this cust is using the customer role. So I will create one customer. Okay, it is created. Now I will create the token for this. It is the cust, and I will paste it cust here again, and let's create the token for it. Okay, I got the token, and I will use the same token to create the product. Okay, so here is the product, here is the body, and in this time I will do some random shirt. And in the authorization, I will replace the token code. Okay, let's see. User not authorized for this action. See, we just limited our API for the particular roles as well. So we completed two main things. First of all, we integrated the JWT. Second thing, we limit our APIs to this particular kind of role that only that okay, this kind of person who have this role can only execute this kind of API. And also we see that how we can use this JWT in all of our APIs. So this is the part. Let me go back to this slide where we discussed all the things. Where is that? Where is that? Okay, not here. Okay. So it is the part for which we were taking the discussion. We understood this authentication versus authorization. We understood why we need JWT, and I explained about this JWT too. After that, we created a mechanism to secure the password. Okay, that is working too. After it, we implemented the JWT. We created the method which will provide the JWT token, and also we verify the user with that particular JWT token. Then we protected the API with JWT. That is also fine. We implemented the APIs, we implemented the JWT authentication to our API to get the data. After that, we worked on this implementing role-based authorization. So while creating the product, we created a separate role admin to do that, and we integrated that as well. So these all points are covered till now for the FastAPI backend. So we are totally covered like how we can do these things with our API. Now it's come to this secure token storage in React and integrating JWT with React because we developed our backend. Now let's work on the front end and let's finish it. So let's start with this secure token storage in React. So there are multiple ways where your front end can store the tokens for in a client at the client side so that it can retrieve that data and use it to make the front end more faster. So what are the things which the front end can do, or what are the challenges with the token? So the main challenge is to finding the storage method that is resistant to common web vulnerabilities like XSS and CSRF. What are these XSS and CSRF? For this XSS, actually it is an attack. When your front end store your token or password into the local storage. What I mean by the local storage is your browser also have some local storage. You can name Chrome, you can name Firefox, you can pick any browser. All the browser have these kind of local storage where they store the value in a key value pair. So if your front end stored these things in the local storage of your browser, then other malicious script, the Java script, which are used to get the data from the user's browser can retrieve that token or password and use that particular token or password to access that application with your identity. And they can do some illegal action or they can steal your data. So this is the XSS, cross-site scripting. The second thing is CSRF. What is this CSRF? Okay, so let's say you are not storing your password at your local storage, but there are sometimes it happens with the user that after logging in into one application, what what the other malicious factor will try to do, like they will try to ask you to re-log in. They will try to ask you to re-log in for some other purpose, and then you will provide your login credential thinking that okay, it might be something related to this application, so I need to re-authenticate myself. And while re-authenticating, you are providing your valuable credential to that particular service. So in this way, they will get your credential again, and they will use your credential to do the other stuff which is not secure. So this is the CSRF and that is the XSS. So what is the solution? So the solution is to avoid local storage. We should never use this local storage to store the token or user password. It can be your credential manager or your particular that key value table which all the browsers have. We should use the HTTP only cookies. We should store the tokens into the cookies. So every time when you are going to relog in, they will refresh the cookies, and the cookies will also have their own properties. Your token will have your own properties. Using access and refresh token. So we need to use two type of token, access token and refresh token. What are these? Access token is something which will give you the access to that particular functionality. It will have very short live. It will have very short life. And there is a refresh token. This refresh token will not grant you anything, but what this refresh token will do, it will regenerate the access token whenever it is required. So this refresh token will have a longer life, this access token will have a shorter life, and when you use the combination of this access and refresh token, then you are making your website more secure. So this is the secure token storage in React. So now we will going to implement this JWT token to our React application, which we developed at part 8. If you know already about the React, or you just wanted to know how we can implement this JWT token in React application, then you can continue watch it. So let's go to the Chrome where I have already created the project in part 8 from scratch, like this React application where we were using our FastAPI backend APIs. So what I will do, I will just go quickly and copy this repository. It is an open repository, anyone can use it, and I'll go back here and I will clone it. So it's in the front end. Let's do the git clone, okay, and it will clone it in few seconds. Okay, that's fine. Now we will go inside this. Okay, let's go inside of it. What just happened? Okay, fast API, this. Okay, let me clear the terminal. Okay, fine. So here we have, let's quickly do the npm install. So if there is any dependency which is missing, it will install it. And after it, what we need to do is we need to just initiate our server, our dev server. Okay, so we will do the npm run dev. So here I have one application running in this port. So what I will do, I will just quickly follow the link. I will paste it here and we will watch whatever the changes I'm doing. Okay, so here it is. Earlier we were able to fetch all the products which were present in our DB, but currently we are seeing this no product found. And why is that? Because uh, at the time of this particular video, we changed this particular API where we were fetching the products. We integrated the JWT token. So from now, if the user have a proper JWT token, then only that particular user can see the products. But in this particular view, we do not have any mechanism to insert a user data. So from how we can use it? So for that, we need to create a login page. After creating the login page, this particular React application will store the user details into its cookie. It will do all the operation at the backend. It will fetch the token. It will store that token into the cookies, and that cookies will be used by all the APIs when they were trying to fetch the data. Okay, so we understood the assignment. Let's go to our code, and we need to do few things here. And what are those? First of all, there are two backend API which we developed. What are those API? Let me show you. We created this my session and token. So we need to create some notation for this my session and token so that we don't have to hard code these particular API endpoint into our React application JS code. So what I will do, I will go inside the API where earlier we created these separate API files for all the models, like for the category, like for the product, and we created a very main engine of these all APIs, that is this API service. So here I will add one more file which will be called as, okay, it will be called as user API.jsx. Fine. So here is the user API.jsx, and what I need to do, I just need to copy it like this. I will copy it here. from import API from this. Okay, and now what I will do, I will create a const user API equals to this, and after this login. Okay, for login I'm creating something for the login right now. Okay, not like this. Okay, so I'll just fast forward it, whatever the things I'm developing here, so we can understand what the actual code is after it. Okay, so here I have this particular code. What I'm trying to do here is it will take the data, username and password from the form data. Okay, I created a one object of this form data. It will take the data from this form data, and from here it will generate the, it will create this post request with the form data, and it will generate the token, and this token we need it. Fine. So I got this, and there are two more APIs for this my session. This is one for the token, and this is one for the my session. Okay, and there is one for the API V1 users, where we can create new user. So this particular user will be used for the sign up, and this particular API will be used for to get the session. Okay, so it is very simple. We just exported the user API, and now we need to create few modification with the product API, because right now this fetch all products will use the API token. So how I can integrate API token in it? So for that, what I need to do is, first of all, I need to create the get auth header. Okay, constant get auth header. Okay, token. Fine. And what it should do? Okay, no, it should be like this. Fine. Okay, it will take the token. Let's not give it here. Okay, and what what else? Const token equals to session storage dot get item JWT token. It should be JWT token. JWT token. Okay, fine. And return token authorize bearer token. Fine. Okay, get auth header is assigned but not used. So we are going to use this get auth header. And how we are going to use it? All we need to do is we just need to pass the header with this API.get. So there is very one simple thing. All you need to do is just put the comma here, and you need to provide this like headers, and headers will be like get authentication, get auth header. Okay, so we created this fetch all products API with the token mechanism. It is as simple as it possible. Okay, we updated this one, and I guess there was one more API which we updated. It was this category API where we were creating the category. Sorry, it was with the product where we were creating the product. So I will do the same here as well. Products. Fine. Let me add it here. Header. Okay, comma is already there. Then I will remove this comma, and it should do the work. Fine. So we updated this product API.jsx, and which is taking the bearer auth token from the header. So it will get the header from the JWT, not jet, JWT token and authorized token. That's it. Now let's come to the part where we need to create a login or sign up mechanism from where we can create user, and from where we can, after creating the user, when we are going to log in, that particular logged in user will be used to fetch the token. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to come to my components. Let's close this API. Where are the components? Okay, here is it. And what I need to do, I need to create one file, login.jsx, and I need to create one more file that will be called as signup.jsx. Signup.jsx. Okay, So I will just simply copy the code which I already have. So it will not take much time and we can discuss that what that particular code is doing. And for the sign up, let me copy that too. Okay. So I just created these two files, this login.jsx and signup.jsx. There is one error. What is that error? This error is not used. Okay, then let's use it. We will use this error, so we will get the information whenever it is required. It will be used as dollar this and ERR. Okay, so here it is. What just happened? Okay, ERR. Fine. So it resolved this conflict as well. And right now, let's discuss what we did at the time of login and at the time of sign up. After it, what we need to do is we just need to update the app.jsx files from where we are routing for this particular dashboard view, sorry, customer page view and admin dashboard view. So we will come to this part later. First, understand what this login page is doing. Okay, so in this login page, we created a one method login, and this is the one which we are exporting here. Okay, so this is the one thing. So everything happen inside the login. What it will use, we are using this use state. This use state we discussed so much, but in a summary, we can say this use state will be used to setting a variable like if I come to this particular line, this particular will be the variable name and this variable will be used to update this password variable data. So at the initial state, this password will have the empty string, and whenever we want to update this particular variable, we need to update the value of this set password variable. So when we update this one, it will set the data for this password variable. It will happen for all the things wherever we will use the use state. Okay. Actually, we don't need the location. We can comment it for this particular example, but let's just let it there. Okay. So what we did here is handle submit. This handle submit will be triggered when we are going to push the login button. So what this login button will do, let's see. So first of all, it will run the user API.login. It will run this particular API which we have created, this login. What it will do, it will take the data from the username and password and it will just hit the API. Okay, so this particular part is clear. So when there is a successful login, it will return the user ID, it will return the user public data. What the user public data is, whatever we have exposed for the API response. Okay, now the second part is we need to get the access token for that particular user. So how we will get this particular access token? So that particular access token will become for the response. Okay, let's go back to our API page and let's see what we will get with this token, this user API login, and here we are using the token. Okay, so how we are getting the token? We need to pass the username password and it will return the token for that particular user. So that particular token will be extracted here in this line, and now we have the token for that particular user after hitting the login button. Okay, so now we have that. Now it comes a part where we are storing that particular token. We are storing that particular token into our session storage. We are not putting it anywhere into the browser. We are putting it into the cookies. So this particular session is referring to the cookies. And how we are getting this session? Uh, okay, so this particular session, okay, I got this session, this particular JWT token is got set, and after doing this, we are authenticating with the user. So what I'm doing here is user API dot get session. Let's go back to the get session, and this particular get session, what this API was doing is this particular my session will take the uh, token, and it will authorize what it will authorize. Let me go back here. Okay, let's just comment it. Okay, so what I will get is when we provide the token to it, it will return me the username and its ID and its role. So I got the token. After getting the token, I'm putting this my session API. This my session API will return me the data of that particular user for which that token is created. Okay, so this is the one thing. Now, this particular we get the data of that particular user. Now we need to access its role. Okay, so as we have this particular role inside of our response, so we are fetching that role and we are checking if whether that particular role that particular role is assigned as admin or as user or as a customer. So if it is as a role of admin, then it will open the admin view. What is the admin view? Let's come back to our application. So it is the admin view. This particular view currently open for all, and this view is also currently open for all. But from after that, this particular admin view only be visible to the admin and not someone else. Okay, so this is the one thing which we did here. And the rest of the thing is just for the HTML class which you have created for the login page. Okay, so we successfully understand that what this particular login page is doing. Coming to this sign up page. Okay, so this sign up page is something where we are creating a user. So coming to this user API, this particular API is used to create a user with the sign up. Okay, so let's go back to the sign up, and here again we are using the set username and set password. So at sign up page also you will have two fields like the username and password, and there you will get a button like create my user. So it is a simple process of sign up. So this is again using the same use state where we are initially providing field as empty, then later we are updating the value whatever the user have provided. So here I did this, and after putting it, we are going to put the handle submit. This handle submit again will be execute when we hit the sign up button, and when it will be hit, what it will do, it will run the sign up API. It will run the sign up API, and if it is successfully executed, then it will navigate it to login page, and it will throw some pop-up that okay, user created successfully. If anything goes wrong, then it will catch the error and it will throw the pop-up of this sign up field, try a different username. It means if that particular username is already exist in your database, then it will not create that particular user, and it will throw the error at the sign up page only. Okay, so this is good. This is good. It is the only thing which we need to do with this sign up. And here is the return. Return is again the simple HTML code. Nothing else. All we need to do is just we need to understand that how to introduce the variable for the HTML. In the JSX file, yeah, it's a mix and match. So fine. So we created the sign up, we created the login, and we created the user API.jsx. And now it's time to verify whether it is working or not. So what we will do, we will come here and we will update, we will just refresh it. Okay, just remove the admin. Okay, let's hit this only. Okay, still it is getting, oh, I need to update the app.jsx file as well. Okay, so here it is, app.jsx file, and let me update this file as well. Where is that? This app.jsx. This app.jsx will have some extra logic. What are those extra logic? So it's all about routing, like what user is trying to access, where it should go when nothing is logged in, and if user is trying to access a resource, then they should not be able to. It will be all handled in the app.jsx. So here is the app.jsx. Let's quickly check what this home redirect, and I created two methods. Let me just hide it so we can understand what are the main methods we wrote for this app.jsx. So the first thing is home redirect, the admin route, and the customer route. Okay, so if so if you are accessing this particular, okay, let me remove this. Okay, again, why it removed everything. If I'm just accessing this particular part, this particular URL without any API endpoint, then based upon the token and based upon the user role, what page should be open, it will decide that. Okay, it is clear. Now after it, this admin route, what this admin route will, it will protect the admin route. It will not let the normal customer to access this admin route. What is this protect customer route? Okay, so like admin, we created the protect customer route as well. So it means admin cannot view the customer view. Uh, in a simple way, it should be in a way that admin can see both the views, but for this particular demo, I just created in this way. Okay, so it is the home redirect, it is the admin route, it is the customer route. So let's understand what is this home redirect will use. So here, uh, what we are doing here is, first of all, from the session, whenever user is going to hit that particular URL without any API endpoint, it will try to get the JWT token from the session. Okay, so if there is no token, then it will ask the user to log in. That's fine. If it logins successfully, then it will go and check about the session, the same things which we are doing at the login page. From my session, it will get the role of that particular user. Okay, so here again we are passing the header of the bearer token. That is required because we want to because we are doing this get request, and based upon the role, it is redirecting the user to admin page or customer page. Okay, it is as simple as possible. Okay, so let me just hide it and let's go for the protects admin route, like protected admin route. Again, we are doing the same thing here. So what we are doing here is, first of all, we are doing the use state. We are checking the use state of that particular. We are creating two variables. First is auth and the second is loading. And at initially we are passing few variables or few values. For the auth, it is null, and for the loading, it is true. It is a Boolean value, true. And what we are trying to do here is, it will come here. So first of all, again from the session storage, we will try to access the JWT token. So if JWT token is not present, it means authentication is not happened till now for that particular browser where you are trying to access your application. And the set loading will also be set as false. Okay, that's fine. If these two things executed, even okay, let's say it will just return the it will just return it will not let you access that particular route. And let's coming to this API get. Again, if this token is there, then what it will do, it will go and check for that particular role, and based upon the role, it will do the set loading as false. Set loading will be used. It will not show that backend data to the user. It will keep that at loading state. When this particular set loading comes as true, then only user can view that particular response from the server. Okay, so this is that, and this page is only for admin. Okay, if auth is not, then it will create this particular message there. And if loading is true, and then it will show this particular line, loading ... So we just somehow managed to authenticate for the admin view as well, with all the possible scenario. Like if there is any case that your application is taking time, then it will show these responses to the user while doing the backend operation, while doing all these things. But somehow these all things will take microseconds of time. Okay, so this is the admin route, and the same thing will go for the customer route. Here again we are taking the JWT, and if the role is not admin, we are not just putting the customer here as a role which we decided at the backend, but we are just verifying, like if not admin, if there is any other role, okay, then allow it access set loading false, just remove the loading, and whatever the content you have, just show to the user. Okay, so it is the protected customer route. Okay, so we discussed this home redirect, admin route, and customer route. Now let's come to the app where we are doing all the routing. So what it will do, it will first of all, it will do the home redirect, which is obviously at the customer, which is at the either at the customer view or at the admin dashboard view. If we are not providing anything, this is the login, this is the sign up. This login sign up will call the login this login function, this sign up function, which we just exported from the login.jsx and signup.jsx. Okay, let's come back to this app.jsx, and based upon the role and based upon the element, it will reroute to the admin or customer. Okay, so this is all for the React where we need to integrate this particular like how we can integrate all the JWT token. This particular code will be available, the correct code, the working code will be available at the Git. You can just simply clone it and uh, either you can use it for your own work, you can expand it, you can just simply create another repository and use it for your purpose. So what here right now I have is this login page. Okay, let me refresh it. So with this login page, what we will do, first of all, we will check whether with any username, will it let me to log in or not with any random. So what I will do, I will just put some any random xzxzx and xzxzx. I'm sure that I didn't create any user with this name, and let's check whether it will work or not. Okay, invalid credential or server error Axios request. You can handle this particular error with some more fancy pop-ups or messages. And now what we will do, we will try to access with the existing user. So what we did in the Postman, let's check what are the users we have created. So if I go to here in the post user, let me check the body. Here I created one username cust with the role of customer. So what I will do, I will use this one. Okay, cust, and I will use this password cust@123. I will paste it and let's see login will work or not. Okay, it worked successfully. Earlier we were unable to see this particular products which we just stored at our database, but currently after the login we were able to see, and now we can see whatever the products we have. So it's a very good view. But let's try to access this admin view, because this admin view should not be visible to the user which have the role of customer. Okay, so this page is for admin only. Great, great, very great. Let's go back to the customer view, and it is the customer view. It is nice. Now what I will do, I will go back to again with login. Okay, so let's go to login. Again, I'm at the login. So what I will do, I also created one user with the admin rights. Let me check where it is. So here is the okay, again it is a customer user token, customer user. Let me check the body. Okay, admin. I created this admin one user with the admin rights, like with the admin role. So I will use this row user as admin, and I will pass the password as admin1@123. Okay, let's see where it will take me. It take me to the admin dashboard with all the data which is there. Let me check with the customer view. Okay, it will not let me to view the customer view because I just coded in that way. Uh, let's see this. There are total 6 categories and 16 product. Let me add one more category. So what I will do, I will add category as pen. I will ask category as pen paper. Okay, pen, just pen book. Okay, pen book. That's also fine. Okay, category created successfully, category updated successfully. Let's create a product. Let's see whether this particular product we can create or not. It's this particular pen book should come here. Product name will be Harry, sorry, uh, Harry, Harry, Harry book, and price will be $12.80. Okay, let's create the product. Product created successfully and it updated successfully as well. So our React application is working fine. Our backend application is working fine. We were successfully integrated the JWT token in our FastAPI backend and also at our React application too. And they both are in sync right now. So that's it for this video. If you like this particular video, or if you like this video, then please let me know in the comments, like this video, subscribe my channel. And if there's any case you got confused at any part, or you are still at some page where you are not getting what I'm trying to teach, or what if I'm not clear, then please let me know in the comments. I will definitely make a video for that, because if you are getting this issue, it means many more people will get the same issue, and I do not want anyone from that. So let's become a great engineer, and that's it. Thank you.